Well, we talked about UConn and how they have to overcome things all season long. It seems like we're at a standstill. Now, with the UConn Husky team, they are postponing a basketball game against DePaul due to injuries. Something that they can't overcome. Well, they can't overcome a rule in the Big East where they have less than 6 scholarship players on the roster. They have to postpone the game according to the Big East. Entering Thursday night's game at Xavier, UConn had 8 players available. However, Aaliyah Edwards did get an injury in her right foot after colliding with a set of chairs. And then since then, UConn also announced that Patterson sustained an injury during the game against Xavier. There wasn't any details since the time that we were reading and covering this article about Patterson's injury. But with Patterson and Edwards out, UConn is still without AZ Fudd, who has missed 8 games. Ducharme suffered a head injury, and we've seen Paige Becker's out, and obviously Ice Brady out as well with some season-ending injuries. This moves UConn down below the minimum for the Big East standard. And according to athletic director of UConn, Dave Benedict, he says, while it's unfortunate that we need to postpone Sunday's game, it's the right call to protect the safety of our students' athletes. We'll work at the Big East and DePaul on options to reschedule the game. Steve, this is my question to you. We kind of talked about it off air, so I'm going to hear your thoughts on this. It seems like it's focused on player safety, and that's the case. Completely understand. Yes, after you have to protect the players, but we're talking about scholarship players here. You have to have a minimum of scholarship players. Do you like this rule here in the Big East? Do you think that they should have continued this game? Are you surprised that they're okay with rescheduling and UConn didn't have to forfeit this one?
I'm perfectly okay with the rescheduling. Okay. That part of it didn't really bother me at all. I mean, again, if it's a tournament game, different conversation. But this whole thing saying, oh, it's for player safety. If you have a rule in place like that, are you not going to maybe go to a player that might have an injury that potentially could get worse and say, look, I know you're hurting, but we really need you to dress up tonight. We'll limit your minutes. It only takes 5 seconds to sustain a serious injury. So I don't see how that's a player safety benefit. You're now going to have to, when you reschedule this game, on a scheduled off day that you purposely schedule so that your team can rebound and kind of catch their breath, especially as you get into conference play. Now they're going to have to add an extra game somewhere in there. Are you now not running your player out either on a back-to-back situation or taking away practice time and taking away recharge and rest time from those players in order to play this rescheduled game? It's like, for me, it's like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. I mean, to say it's for the protection and the health and safety of the players. I don't buy that. Again, every program has walk-ons. Every athletic department has players either serving as managers or as support staff, or even if they're playing intramurals, that played competitive basketball at the high school level. So they know how to play the game. If they're stepping in, it's not like it's the Hanson brothers from Slapshot that are there and just taking their stick and slapping everybody around. I mean, these are basketball players. Are they going to be at the same level as the players that are injured and aren't playing? No, they are not. But having these walk-on players come in and play, again, they're not going to play significant minutes. If there was some kind of epidemic like measles, like a couple of years ago, the men's team at Siena, I want to say like 8 or 9 of them had the measles. And they were suiting up all kind of players. Again, different conference, but I just don't buy this player safety thing. I'm sorry. I think it's counterproductive. And I think it's a bad precedent to set.
It's interesting. I guess I understand why they do it because of the player safety. And if that is, I don't want to say narrative, but if that is the priority of the school and the conference, then I guess I'm on board with it. But I can definitely see your points as well, why they are made. Their next scheduled game is Wednesday against St. John's. It's at St. John's. Makes you wonder if they're going to be ready for that one as well. Again, we don't know what's going on with Patterson. We're going to see if if Edwards is ready, and we're still waiting on some of the other big injury news as well for UConn. Let us know your thoughts in the comment description below. What do you think about this game getting postponed? We know we got a lot of UConn fans out there as well. Steve just took a pretty interesting take on that. So don't hurt him too hard in the comments, or go ahead. You can go ahead, bring it at. Just bring some good discussion, good debate as well. If you're going to call him an idiot, just make sure you tell him why.
Yeah, I don't care as long as you explain why. But I'm glad you had the miss there and you called them UConn. Yes, UConn. It really should be called UConn because they find ways to compete night in, night out. This isn't a new thing. Now, again, if they had asked, given the amount of injuries that they have suffered and illnesses that they have suffered, if they had gone to DePaul and said, "Hey, look, I know this puts some pressure on us later in the year. I just don't think we should play the game." I think that's a different situation. You can go case by case basis on that, but to make it a steadfast rule, personally, you're punishing the other players. And like I said earlier, these are Division I athletes, and it's not just reserved for Division I, but in high pressure, high profile programs. You don't think that a player is going to maybe hide an injury knowing that their team, that they don't want to let their teammates down and they're not going to force themselves to go out there? I just think that, it was we might need to change it to the big whoops rather than the big East now, because if they're going to keep doing stuff like this, I have to really worry about whether or not they're worried about the product on the court because you're playing players that maybe are walk-ons, as opposed to, is it really a player safety issue?
Interesting. I see where you're getting at, and that I understand completely, 100%. Let us know your thoughts in the comment description below. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. And thanks for watching /review.